I mentioned earlier, not all networking events are the same. So the first thing you need to do is be willing to go to a number of events, different types of events, to find out which one works for you. The second thing is, no matter where you go, you should be prepared in advance for your discussions with people. You should have approximately a 1 minute, a minute for yourself. You know, who you are, what you do, what types of work that you do, what business you're looking for, and then be ready to be a good listener.
Now that's also in with sort of informal events, like, so say if it's a chamber after hours where that's a little more informal. Well, in some cases anyway, where you're just kind of mingling. Do you still recommend people are kind of prepared?
Absolutely, because you never know who's going to be at these events. And no matter what happens and what event you're going to be introduced to somebody, or you're going to have to walk up and introduce yourself. And at some point you're going to be asked, what do you do?
So think like a Boy Scout. Be prepared.
Be prepared,
right.
and just, you know, and for Don's events, and he'll speak more to that, I'm sure, but you need to go and really be prepared. You need to go in your workout clothes and have a bottle of water, because you're going to be. It's a lot of work, but it's very, very productive.
So is this like fitness too?
Well,
we gotta know
from the social aspect, from the speaking aspect, it is somewhat demanding. I mean, you come to a typical event and you'll each have 2.5 or so minutes to talk with the person across from you. The buzzer rings at 2.5, the other person talks, and then the buzzer rings, you switch seats. So you really have to have a good, quick presentation.
So you kind of borrow from Bill O'Reilly and keep it pithy.
Yes, for the most part,
Right.
And you get right to the point, and you really let people know the point is to make a connection anywhere that you go. You're planting seeds, and that's my famous line there is, you know, anytime you do any type of networking, you're planting seeds, you're making a first impression. You really want to take any event to the next step, which is setting up the one-to-one conversation. Do it, you know, over a cup of coffee, breakfast, lunch, and in some cases dinner, where you can take an hour and a half. In my case, mostly 2 hours, because I like to talk. And
we're just doing it on the radio today.
Yeah, and so that's where, when I go to the one-to-one, I want to learn everything about the person. I want to learn about their family, how they got to where they are, their trials and tribulations of their, you know, work life, what they're doing today, what makes them special in their specific industry, and most importantly, what do I need to know to help you grow your business? That's my first, or that's actually my final question. Because really, if you give enough times, you will eventually receive. People want to help each other out, and if you always take the first step and give, over time, it's going to come back to you. And that's really what you're looking for by building a business social network. You're looking to grow your business through the referrals over time after first establishing a relationship.
Now, what about... Now, Joanne, where is your group again? In Epsom, and it was through the...
Correct. It's through the Pittsfield Area Chamber of Commerce, which serves 7 towns, Epsom being one.
Okay. You know, here's a big one, too, is that some people have issues with follow-up. Mm-hmm. You know, what I always do is I'll ask people in a situation, because it's really rude and arrogant to just add people, you know, to your contact list for whatever reason. So what you do is you just kind of, what I'll just say is, hey, do you mind if I put you on my my newsletter list or something like that? That's probably the most cost-effective way to stay in touch with people.
Absolutely.
What do you find? I mean, I know people that do send-out cards and things like that. Mm-hmm. What do you recommend, Don, in terms of staying in touch after?
I love Facebook. I'm a firm believer. I just got involved with Facebook about a year ago, and I've gone from 0 to 600 plus contacts. It's a great way to manage your social network.
Right.
I wouldn't say so much if I get to a point that I can have a conversation with somebody, I'll go find them on Facebook, and I'll send the request, but I'll also send a message, you know. It was great talking to you, had a good time, I'd like to keep you part of my social network. If that's good for you, please accept this request. And in most cases, not too many people deny an opportunity to be a part of a large social network. It gives them an opportunity to get their name out there.
So you'll stay in touch via social media.
Yes, yeah.
Like
well, you know, when you start growing your network, you know, a couple hundred deep, it gets tough to physically talk to everybody. But to be able to post something on a regular basis, quote of the day, something upbeat, enthusiastic, you'll find you'll start to get a following, and people will actually look forward to what you have to say.
Right, right.
And once you have somebody as a friend on Facebook, if you've got a business fan page, you can then invite them to follow your fan page. And if they want to, great. If they don't, that's fine. But then you've got two ways that you're getting in touch with them. One, more of a social aspect, and the other, more of a business aspect. If it's all right, I'd like to speak to a point that you made earlier, Mike, and that is that some people are shy. So if you are interested in starting networking, but you're not sure, you're not comfortable, a couple of suggestions would be, first of all, try to find somebody that you know who already attends these types of events, and go with them. You don't have to be the leader in the situation. And the second thing, most importantly, is when you go to these events, watch other people, because chances are most of them have been to more than one networking event before. They're working the rooms, so to speak, and they're picking up on cues of other people. You know, I see that person over there, they look like somebody I want to talk to. Just sort of watch other people in the room and take notes. And if you're nervous about going to an event, go with somebody, or just go and just, see what's going on. You don't have to be, the guest speaker at your first event.
No. And, the 80-20 rule, I think, does apply too when people are looking around, because the 80-20 rule, only 20% of people are pretty much accountable for 80% of the results.
Right.
So sometimes you can kind of look and you can kind of see 4 people or 5 people, and you'll see one person that you may want to model, so to say. And I'm gonna just, before we take a break, I'm gonna just play a quick devil's advocate on Facebook and Twitter and things like that. And whenever I speak, I do mention this to my audiences. I say, there's a lot of talk about social media marketing and things like Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all that stuff. I never really use LinkedIn. I'm just too lazy to figure it out. So don't take it personal if you don't get a LinkedIn, whatever connection from me.
I was going to ask you about that.
But no, what I tell them is ultimately, your followers on Twitter, your friends on Facebook, that contact list is really owned by Twitter. It's owned by Facebook. It's not really technically owned by you, and it's just something to kind of think about, because we all see what happened with MySpace, right? I mean, people are on MySpace, and let's have friends, and let's get them in the top 20 friends, and that's a big deal. And then all of a sudden, like a nightclub that wasn't busy anymore, whoosh, everybody's now over down the street at Facebook, So that's kind of what I always just kind of throw my little word of caution to people to say, careful. I mean, because I spent hours building up a MySpace page and, MySpace friends for not much now. So you just got to be, I tell people, just be careful about totally relying on that. I was speaking to one person, he said, I send my coupon of the day out via my Facebook message. I said, well, what prevents you from, collecting your customers' names and email addresses and then put them on your server? Oh, really? I never thought about that. Well, you should.
Right. So
it's just something to kind of, I always like to play, throw the devil's advocate in there. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll finish up talking about networking to our 2 guests and let you know where you can find them and everything that they're doing. Certainly appreciate them coming by the studio today. Again, you're on Mike D's Mobilization on Mondays. You're on WSMN 1590 AM, Nashua's News and Talk Station. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Thanks, George. How did we get? Did we get?
I got about 8 minutes, 30 seconds.
You're still recording.
I'm still recording.
There you go.